Right, today we'll look at three very short suttas from SD 51.3 AB and then 4A, SD 51.4A. The first sutta is called Duka Tapanīya Sutta. The two discourse on tormenting. This is from A 2.3. Then there's another related sutta which is the opposite of this. That is the Duka Atapanīya Sutta. The two discourse on the non-tormenting. This is from A 2.4. And this is in SD 51.4A. Now there's another related sutta to the Tapanīya Sutta, that is the Iti Tapanīya Sutta. When we see Iti, here is short for Iti Vuttaka. The Iti Vuttaka discourse on the tormenting. This is from IT 30, Iti Vuttaka number 30. So it's about practices that bring torment. So we'll look at the two Tapanīya Suttas and then we'll close by looking at the Atapanīya Sutta. All these three suttas talk about the effects of karma, good and bad. It is a very simple reminder to us to avoid bad karma and to create good karma, or to avoid unwholesome action and cultivate wholesome action. Just a quick summary. We have the old school belief in what's called punya and papa, merit and demerit. The Buddha accepted these old teachings into his Dhamma by way of what I call natural adaptation. It is very wise of the Buddha to do that. In other words, he is saying, well, okay, you can go on believing in punya, that is meritorious action. You do good, such as by giving, and you get good returns. And then if you do bad, papa, you have bad karma coming to you. But as we well know, this kind of karma, good and bad, this brings you, if you do good, you go to heaven. If you do bad, you go to the suffering states. Now both of these are still in samsara. So the Buddha provides another alternative, that is the teaching of kusala, the unwholesome dhamma and wholesome dhamma. Unwholesome dhamma is akusala dhamma, and wholesome dhamma is kusala dhamma. Now the difference between kusala and punya, akusala and papa is quite subtle but clear enough. In the case of punya, we can basically say that you can train yourself, you can build up this good karma to end all karmas. In other words, you can get out of samsara through kusala, through wholesome actions. So this is a quick overview of the nature of karma as taught by the Buddha. Let's look at the first sutta here, the Duka Tapanīya Sutta, the two discourse on the tormenting, or on that which torments, Tapanīya. A 2.3. Bhikshus, there are these two states that conduce to torment. What are the two? The two situations that bring on suffering. The number one, here bhikshu, someone has committed bodily misconduct. he has not committed any pure bodily conduct. He has committed verbal misconduct. He has not committed any pure verbal conduct. He has committed mental misconduct. He has not committed any pure mental conduct. Okay, now let us just examine this for the moment. These are, in a sense, ideal states. Someone who has done lots of bad deeds but never done any good deeds. They can come in our life when we are so engrossed in something so bad that we totally forget to do good. Like in the story of Devadatta. Of course, under normal circumstances, I think it's quite rare to find someone who's like all the time doing bad. There's always this mixture of karma. But here we're talking about a situation where someone is so engrossed in doing bad over a period of time. Is doing just bad things. Everything is planning, executing, and gloating over the results of something bad. Now, what happens to such a person? Now, the second part now, the second aspect of this two states that conduce to torment. Section 3. Thinking bodily misconduct has been committed by me. He is tormented. Thinking I have not made myself pure bodily. He is tormented. Here I've revised the translation. Thinking verbal misconduct has been committed by me. He is tormented. Thinking I have not made myself pure verbally. He is tormented. Thinking mental misconduct has been committed by me. He is tormented. Thinking I have not made myself pure mentally. He is tormented. These bhikshus are the two states that conduce to torment. So in each of these, of the two, the first is where the person actually does it. He does something bad either through body, through speech, or through thinking. Right? Of course, in terms of body, we'll be breaking the first three precepts, basically killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. And then verbal misconduct is breaking the fourth precept, and also including the other three wrong kinds of speeches. Right? You have lying, harsh speech, breaking up relationships, good relationships, and frivolous talk. Right? So these are the four kinds of wrong speeches. And then the last one, mental misconduct, will be thinking delusional thoughts, wrong views, cruel thoughts, or thoughts of ill will rather, angry thoughts, and then cruel, violent thoughts. So the idea here is that we are constantly caught up habitually having this kind of negative thoughts. Then the time comes when we look back, especially at the time of dying. This person will feel, oh dear, I've done this, and so on. So, as I said, this is not so common in daily life, but so the teaching here, in other words, is a kind of warning to us that do not go to the extent of doing bad things until you come to this level. Then it is very difficult to get out of it. So this is the meaning of this teaching on the two states that torment us. The two states again are actually doing the action, that is the cause, if you like, and then looking back, thinking about it, and the effect of it upon us. Now in the next sutta, as the 51.3b, we have the Iti Tapanīya Sutta, the Iti Vuttaka discourse on the tormenting, IT 30. Now here the traditional number is IT 2.1.3. This was spoken by the Blessed One, spoken by the Arahat, as heard by me. This is spoken by the Lady Kujutara. Bhikshus, there are these two states conducive to torment. What are the two? Number one, here Bhikshus, one has done no good. One has done nothing wholesome. One has not created any security from terror or from fear. One has done bad. One has done what is cruel. So all these are bad karma. So this is the action done, the bad action. Then number two, the result. Thinking I've done no good, he is tormented. Thinking I've done bad, he is tormented. These bhikshus are the two states conducive to torment. Okay, now what is interesting here is it may not be so bad after all. In the case of the person who thinks, oh, I've done something bad, if it goes on thinking of that, yeah, it's bad for him. So he has to make amends, in other words. So this is where it's still never too late to turn back to the Dhamma. Although there is possible the karma result may already come and then it's quite too late, that's possible too. But generally, if we are diligent and we have a good spiritual friend to help us, we are able to get out of this situation. Like the story of the public executioner who met Sariputta, he was able to overcome his bad karma, at least in his following life. Right, so now the sutta closes with the Blessed One saying two verses. The Blessed One spoke on this matter. Then he said this: having done wrong through the body and wrong through speech, having done wrong through the mind, and other acts connected with the faulty, having done no wholesome acts, doing much of what is unwholesome, of poor wisdom, with the bodies breaking up, he is reborn in hell. Right, so here we have this popular language, or even populist language if you like, where the Buddha speaks the language of the public. Well, if you do bad, you go to the suffering stage. So here, of course, the suffering state is not a place that you are sent to, although in mythical language we talk in that way. It is wherever you are, where if you have done bad and the results come to you, wherever you are, that is hell for you. It arises with your thoughts. And hell comprises the worst kind of suffering and fears that you have. So it's not something out there, something in your mind. It is the mind that suffers. This too is a matter spoken by the Blessed One. Thus it was heard by me, says Kujutara. Now the third sutta, SD 51.4a, is a happy one. Duka Atapanīya Sutta. The two discourse on the non-tormenting. Now this is found in A 2.4. The sutta begins, Bhikshus, there are these two states that do not conduce to torment. What are the two? Okay, not the first state now. Here, Bhikshus, someone has engaged in pure bodily conduct. He has not engaged in bodily misconduct. He has engaged in pure verbal conduct. He has not engaged in verbal misconduct. He has engaged in pure mental conduct. He has not engaged in mental misconduct. So basically here, this person is free from a bad karma of body, speech and mind. What does this mean? What does it mean to be pure in the three doors of karma, body, speech and mind. It means that whatever we do, whether we act, speak or think, those acts are free from greed and hate, at least greed and hate. Delusion will always be there. If we are not awakened, there is at least a tinge of delusion. But if we keep to the precepts and we don't think too much about it, we just kind of, or we have loving kindness, we show loving kindness, then to that extent it is also wholesome in terms of there is some wisdom there, in other words. So we need to keep the three doors open to purity, in other words. So this is by way of doing it. Then number 2, thinking I have engaged in purity of bodily misconduct, thinking I have engaged in bodily conduct, rather, he is not tormented. Thinking I have engaged in purity of verbal conduct, he is not tormented. Thinking I have engaged in purity of verbal, first is bodily, second is verbal, and then the third is mental. Let me read that part again. It comes in pairs, okay? I'm reading section 3. Thinking I have engaged in purity of bodily conduct, he is not tormented. Thinking I have not engaged in any bodily misconduct, he is not tormented. Thinking I have engaged in purity of verbal conduct, he is not tormented. Thinking I have not engaged in any verbal misconduct, he is not tormented. Thinking I have engaged in purity of mental conduct, he is not tormented. Thinking I have not engaged in any mental misconduct, he is not tormented. These bhikshus are the 2 states that do not conduce to torment. So in the second part, the second blessing, if you like, second happy state, the second state that does not bring any torment, he first thinks in terms of bodily conduct. He thinks, okay, I've not broken any precept, I've not done any killing, stealing or sexual misconduct. So he's happy, he's not troubled. Okay? Instead of tormented, we can say troubled, not troubled. And then he continues to think, and I've kept it that way. I have kept it that way thus far. And that's a happy thought. So he thinks the same way of speech, okay? I've not spoken any unwholesome speech, and I've kept it that way. I've not thought any negative thoughts. I've kept it that way. This is something which is really worthwhile practicing, or worthwhile remembering when, let's say, we go for a Dhamma gathering at the Buddhist center, when there is Dhamma talk, when there is a day retreat, or when there is a precept observance and so on. We should remember those moments happily. Right? Reflect on those moments, especially at the end of it. You say, well, today I've kept my precepts. I've not done any unwholesome act through body, speech or mind. And I'm keeping it so. And you think that way joy arises. And this kind of reflection is also very good. It's a kind of mindfulness practice. It habitually reminds you, it reinforces the idea of I must keep to the precepts. I have to keep my body, speech and mind pure. And when you are confronted with a difficult situation where there's a chance you might break the precept, you are strong enough to know what wholesome response to give. So these suttas keep us from doing whatever is bad. Okay? Okay. Now there is one more short sutta, so I might as well just read it because it's also related to what I've just said. It is the Atapanīya Sutta 51 SD 51.4b. This is the Itivuttaka discourse on the non-tormenting IT 31. Here the Buddha basically says the same thing, but there's two verses at the end. This was spoken by the Blessed One, spoken by the Arahat, as heard by me. Bhikshus, there are these two states that do not conduce to torment. What are the two? Number one, here bhikshus, someone is one who has done good, who has done the wholesome, who has created a security from terror, who has done no bad, who has done done nothing that is cruel, done what is no wrong. Okay, so in other words, here is the action part. He has not done anything bad. Thinking, I've done no wrong, he is tormented. He's not tormented, rather. Thinking, I've done no bad, he is not tormented. These bhikshus are the two states that do not conduce to torment. So basically here is the Buddha is reminding us one more time how to keep yourself on the right track of karma. And the sutta closes with two verses. Having abandoned wrong through the body and wrong through speech, having abandoned wrong through the mind and other acts connected with the fault, having done no unwholesome acts, doing much of what is wholesome, filled with wisdom, with the bodies breaking up, he is reborn in heaven. So there you are, the Buddha is reminding us one more time the benefits of good karma. So with that, let us close with a short reflection. We are our karma, and we cannot bring anything with us from this world except our own karma. So let us, from this very moment, make sure that all our actions through body, speech and mind are pure, and we make every effort to do so. Reflecting in this way is very good karma. With the power of such good karma and the power of the three jewels, may we be blessed with the strength and wisdom to aspire to stream winning in this life itself. May our life be blessed with good health and energy and wisdom and courage to do our duties in the Dharma and good deeds that will help others too. And may those who are dear and near to us, may they too be well and happy. And those who are practicing the Dharma also find their true fruits in this life itself. And may those who are lost or have difficulty come to see the true path in this life itself too. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.